Hi there, Cosmic Family. My name is Eliali. In this incarnation, I wanted to comment today that the moon entered Libra and it is going to stay here until February 17th at night, at least here in Argentina. So before that, it did a conjunction with the South Node in Virgo. I wanted to mention this just for you to identify how this could have impacted in your experience, because this could represent over analyzing a situation, to put a lot of pressure in ourselves to do the things in a correct way, like in this perfectionism thing, uh, being very critical with ourselves or with other people, or feeling very criticized. And independently of the intention with which other people could act, this always invite us to look at something in us if it is activating emotions, because well, perhaps those critics could show something that we can improve. Could be in other moments that an inner voice, a distorted inner voice, is reflected on the outside, a way of talking to ourselves, even if the other people, it is acting in imbalance. Could be that those critics are not reflecting at all who we are, that they respond to the perception of the other person. But if it creates discomfort inside, perhaps we are seeking for an external validation in which, in places that we are not going to find it. But also, in some other cases, we could interpret a negative critic, negative critic. From our own wounds, and perhaps the other person was emitting that with a constructive intention. So this discernment comes from an inner listening that goes beyond the mind. This is the North Node in Pisces. The moon, it is created actually an opposition with Venus in Aries, and it is going to do so with Chiron. This reminds us that the moon in Libra, that what takes us to the balance, it is a recognition of what we need in the present moment, because the moon, it is our representing our emotional needs. So returning to that balance cannot depend always in how other people is acting or in external situations. And I am talking about returning because it is also part of the process to lose that balance, to identify how we can create new ways of understanding where we need to redirect our energy. So this moon is responding right now to a Venus in Aries that is in its shadow period. It is about to be retrograde. So relationships of the past, situations that are implied with the relationship with ourselves, with the things that we value, our resources could be emerging, but they are going to do with more strength during the retrogradation, because we are going to reevaluate precisely everything that we are transiting related to these topics right now. So when we are closer to that moment, I'm going to repeat the period that we are evaluating. So even though Venus is this energy of receptivity, when it is in Aries, acquires this tone of masculine polarity linked with Mars. Mars, it is also a planet related with desire, but it is the action that we take for our desires. And Venus in here represents this impulse of bravery, of courage, the fire that moves us to go after our desires. But there is also a lesson, a learning for this particular Venus in here, because it is also important to know how to receive and not always to seek, especially when in relationships there is a lack of initiative and dynamism on the other side. And we have to remember that feminine and masculine polarities are a way of relating with reality, and incarnating only one energy, it leads us to an imbalance. But I think there is also like periods, like phases, in which we can be more in this creative state, more in our internal world, and there are other moments in which we have to go outside and act, and taking action. So it is our own task to discover what we need to integrate right here, right now. but also the environment, the people that are surrounding us, they are going to reflect it. So this is another way to see it, to observe it. Um, what we need is to go beyond our veils. And for example, if we are inhabiting an environment of people, of adult people, of course, that cannot decide and are constantly depending on our decisions, um, even though this could create resentment, unconsciously that is sustained because that gives the sensation of control. So it is important to identify that. And that is, not being able to be receptive. And it could happen otherwise, vice versa. If there is a difficulty to begin things and to take action, we could attract people with an excessive level of aggressiveness. And that is a reflection that pushes us to align with what we feel we have to do. Of course, this is not a justification for violence in neither of their ways. I'm not if I am expressing that correctly. So, well, other shadow of Venus could be this state of competitivity that is given from a space of lacking of value, of not recognizing our own value. So there is external comparison, or there is this actioning blind blind going towards an objective with this will of winning, with quotation marks, that is not the same. That because this Venus in Aries needs certain level of competition, but for example, making a sport could be a healthy competition, and could be a way of calling us to the, I don't know the word right now. I'm going to look it for it, sorry, but I need to know right now. It is this way of improving, self-improvement. Well, I thought there could be another word, but well, yeah. So this is the potential of Venus in Aries, connecting, creating independence, and connecting with this will of self-improvement. With ourselves, it is not about comparing ourselves with other people, or with external things, but it is also important to take in account that it is not an independence in which we don't consider other people, or we are not capable of creating an agreement. It is the precise energy to separate our will from the one of the others when it is necessary to self-affirm for the things that we really truly value. And that it is also something very, very important. So when we are sustaining a relationship, or we are creating a society, because that is also linked with Venus, with someone that is willing to be conscious of these dynamics, we can move forward. We can, move forward with a lot of strength. So these are the things that we are going to reevaluate: our levels of independency and how we are dealing with that. I'm going to end this video here. Thank you, everyone, and see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.